stand on the threshold of Christmas, our hearts are filled with anticipation, waiting to celebrate the great mystery of the Incarnation, the moment when God became man in the person of Jesus Christ to redeem all of humanity. We recall the words of the prophet Isaiah in the Gospel of Matthew. It says, "All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and they shall name him Emmanuel," which means God is with us. My brothers and sisters, Emmanuel is not simply a baby's name born 2,000 years ago, nor is it merely about the final coming of our Lord at the end of time. Emmanuel is here with us right now. As we celebrate that first coming of Christ, let us remember that this promise of Emmanuel did not end 2,000 years ago. Yes, he was born in Bethlehem, and yes, he will come again in glory at the end of time to judge the living and the dead. But there is a profound truth that we must hold on to. Emmanuel is with us now in the present moment. Emmanuel is a present reality, not just a past event or a future hope. So how do we encounter Emmanuel in the present? The Eucharist. The Eucharist is Emmanuel Incarnate. In the Eucharist, we encounter Emmanuel himself. The Eucharist is the fulfillment of the prophecy of Isaiah and the promise in the Gospel of Matthew. The God who was born in a stable, the God who walked among his people, the God who suffered, died, and rose again for our salvation, now comes to us in the most intimate way possible, in the Eucharist. When we gaze upon the Eucharist, we gaze upon Emmanuel, the same one who came to us in the flesh 2,000 years ago, and the same one who will come again at the end of time. Emmanuel is embodied in the bread of life that we receive at Mass, and the Blessed Sacrament that we gaze upon in the monstrance. This truth is at the heart of the Eucharistic revival in the Church today. We are being called to a deeper awareness, a deeper reverence, and a deeper love for the Eucharist, for in it we encounter Emmanuel, God with us. As we continue forward in this time of revival, let us renew our commitment to receive the Eucharist with greater devotion, to adore Christ in the Blessed Sacrament with greater awe, and to understand that every time we approach the altar, we are not just remembering a historical event. We are encountering the living God who is truly present among us. When you approach the altar this Christmas, I want you to imagine yourself approaching the manger and the stable. As our Advent adventure comes to a close and we prepare to celebrate the birth of Christ, let us also encounter him anew in the Eucharist. As we approach the altar this Christmas, let us do so with hearts full of gratitude, reverence, and love. As we draw near to Christmas, let us reflect on this. Christ's presence among us today is as real as it was on that first Christmas night. His coming in the Eucharist is not just something we remember, it is something we encounter. In this Eucharistic revival, let us make room for Emmanuel in our hearts, not just in this season of Advent and Christmas, but every day, as we gaze upon him and encounter the living God who remains with us now and always. Go and encounter Emmanuel. Go to Mass. Go to adoration. He is there waiting for you, for God truly is with us. I pray that you may have a Eucharistic encounter with Emmanuel this Christmas. May God bless you.